Woo, Rose, I saw you reach down in there and bring it. Do you remember what church you was at? Bring it. I love it. I love that type of spirit. And that's just, I spent many years in the Pentecostal church. And, whoa, they bring it, right? Yeah, if you've been there, they bring it. They bring it. And I have never lost a love for that, be quite honest. I always had kind of this vision, this dream of one day, there was kind of this unity Pentecostal kind of thing going on. But I haven't found that everybody has that same dream. So I'm being kind. I'm being kind. So did you ever have a book and it just came back to your mind and you read it years ago, but there's one day it just is like, go back and check that thing out. You ever have that happen to you? Yeah, so I had this book I read about 10, 15 years ago. It's called The Son of Man by Andrew Harvey. Everybody, many know Andrew Harvey. Yeah. Wow, I didn't expect that many people to just really have known him. Yeah, he's written several books. But if you don't know him, let me read a little bit about him. His name is Andrew Harvey. He's an acclaimed poet, novelist, mystical scholar, seeker, and teacher. He is the author of more than 30 books, including The Return of the Mother, The Way of Passion, A Celebration of Rumi, and the best-selling Hidden Journey, and of course this book called The Son of Man. And so I just had this passion to kind of bring this understanding around this term, the Son of Man. And we're really going to look at this morning. Jesus called himself the Son of God, and he called himself the Son of Man. And of course, in unity, we teach we're both as well. But what was he saying? What was he saying there? In the Old Testament, it uses that term over 90 times, and it's primarily in Ezekiel, where Ezekiel announces that there's going to be a creation. God's going to create a whole new humanity with a new heart and a new spirit. Okay, so it's not coincidental that term is in that book that many times and with such a focus. And it's used in the New Testament 81 times. But I'd like to read you, I thought if I'm going to read something right out of a book, I better do it right in the beginning of the talk, right? So it's a good 3/4 of the page, and it really talks about the Son of Man and just what it is. And it comes from a mystical experience that Andrew Harvey had where let me read what it says. I'm summoning all my courage and praying for humility, and I ask Jesus Christ directly to reveal to me the laws of his Christing and the stages by which he reached and became the one. So he gives them 8 different reasons why he's come. So I'd like to read those to you. And just stay focused on this. Again, I put this in the beginning because really lock in on what's being said here, because it all has to do with our potential as the Son of Man, right? He says, I did not come to found a religion and be worshipped. I came to embody and enact a path to a wholly new life, the life of divine love on earth, a life so profound and abundant that when tasted and known, it must transform everything into the kingdom. This week, I always love when Vivian surprises me with a picture that she picks out. And she just had that picture, not knowing anything I was going to talk about of the heart. And it just emanating this energy. And this is very much what this term is about. So number 2, he says, I came as the sign of a new creation, the first brother or sister of a whole new race of brothers and sisters. Number 3, I came to birth the divine child on earth, the child of the Father, Mother, whose essence is wisdom and compassion, wisdom and love, as we say in unity, right? And whose every action blazes with the truth of love. Number 4, I came to unite in my own being and blaze of unity, the masculine and feminine, the heart and mind, the body and soul, the clearest vision, naked and just vision of this world. Number 5, I came to live the mystery of perfect love in action in time. Number 6, I came to root the light in the core of earth matter so it could blossom there perpetually, and to heal in my own heart and body all the wounds of evil so that a new being could be birthed both in time and in eternity, and so that all those who love me could become, through mystical union and grace, of Father and Mother. Number 7, and really listen to these last two. I came to discover and forge the path to a new humanity, which I first had to birth within myself, so that now you too can birth it within you and within me. We've been visiting that quite a bit in the last 3 months. And we're just going to visit again this morning, and then next week I'm going to share with you a little bit about the end of this talk. We're going to kind of wrap that up, that whole idea, this 3 or 4 months of really visiting this idea that we're here to bring a new humanity, that Jesus inaugurated this, and that we are here now 2,000 years later, and this thing about the heart is opening up, right? We're hearing so much about it. So many of you are practicing, learning heart math and just the power of our heart, and this is what Jesus inaugurated. And so number 8, I came to awaken everyone from the dead and bring all beings into the continually fertile field of the resurrected heart and body. Into the fertile field of the heart. This is the core of what the term Son of Man means. It means that you have the potential as a human being to move into a fertile field of your heart and transform this world through the heart energy. It's literally what it means. So, I think most of us have these teachers, right, who like, you're outside of what everybody else reads in Unity, but for some reason for you, they really resonate. Everybody have one of those? Yeah. And so in many ways, they're like the teachers that you're to bring back the understanding, maybe to yourself or for others, or maybe it's just a teacher to help fill in some blanks, right? Your soul knows that there's some blanks that you're looking for to have filled in, and you bump into these teachers. Well, I bumped into one of these guys, and I've mentioned him several times on Sunday morning, and it's a gentleman named Carlos Suarez, who wrote this book called The Cipher of Genesis. And what it is, it's a book about the first 4 chapters of Genesis, and he breaks down, the words with the letters and the numbers of the significance of the words. And, he really breaks down those first 3 chapters. And when you get done studying, I've read this book 10 times, what you find is Unity's teachings. That's what it is. You find it's very much Unity's teachings, which, of course, for me, provides such passion to continue to bring these teachings to the world that they were there. This is, 3,500 years ago, and we're just now really beginning to wake up to what's been said back then. But what I learned from this gentleman, we could pick up a metaphysical Bible dictionary, and you can go in there, and you can take the word Moses, Abraham, Sarah, Noah, Jesus, Jerusalem, Nazareth, all these, these places and these names and these stories, and in that metaphysical Bible dictionary, it'll give you an understanding of what that name is. But what I learned from this gentleman is you don't need the metaphysical Bible dictionary. You can learn the letters, and you can learn the numbers that are associated with letters, and then you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself very much. And it's really, these are stories, these are information that when you read them, your soul already knows the understanding. That's why, those who pick as their spiritual practice, who resonate as their spiritual practice, reading sacred documents, you're reading something your soul already knows, right? It's part of your awakening. And I see many shaking their head, yes, because you've had these experiences. But in this book, he breaks down the term, the Son of Man. And for those of you from the Jewish tradition, you know that is actually Ben Adam. Now pay attention to that M at the end of the word Ben Adam, Son of Man. Because the M is really this transformation that we make from living within confined structures that humanity is telling us about into moving into a fertile field to be able to create this whole new creation. All right? We're going to get there. But I thought, wow, this is there's so much to this. How am I going to break all that down on a Sunday morning? So I said I went to our new tools we use today, and that is AI, right? So I asked AI, why don't you do this for me? Why don't you look in the book, The Cipher of Genesis, and look at the terms, the Son of Man, and the letters and the numbers in that Carlos Suarez is the name of this gentleman. And why don't you break down for me, what this term means? And here's what it said. Here's what AI came back with. Spot on. AI says the term Son of Man or Ben Adam indicates an innate human capacity to become fertile, to dwell in the fertile field of the resurrected, raised consciousness, heart body, to connect with the divine and embody higher consciousness. The Son of Man signifies the harmonious relationship between the earthly and the divine, emphasizing the idea that every person has the potential to transcend ordinary existence, to transcend humanity's ordinary understanding, and achieve a deeper understanding of the universe and their place within it. I said, wow, it nailed it. It nailed it. So let's look at this whole idea that your soul knows that you have the capacity to transcend humanity's common understanding, right? And you find this in the story of Noah and the flood, right? And it shows in this story, spot on, what this human potential is, this potential of the Son of Man. Does anyone know what Noah's name is spelled backwards? If you spell Noah's name backwards, it's grace. Okay, so there's pre-Noah, and then there's the life, this vertical life, right, that we're moving into. This direct knowing and being guided directly. So if you look at that story, we know that, God is saying, whoa, I'm not sure I should have created this humanity, right? I mean, that's kind of what it says in the story. And so we gotta wipe this thing clean, right? And bring a whole new consciousness. So there's a flood that comes, and how many days does it rain? How many? 40 days and 40 nights. Now, at the end of the term Son of Man, or Ben Adam, that M is mem, and the number is 40, and it means water. And anytime you see 40, you know that it's dealing with a current existing structure. Can everybody see that 4 is structure? It's foundation. So it's like, okay, we're in this current structure, this current state of consciousness of humanity. We've got to wash it clean for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, if you run water over the earth, over the land, over the consciousness, for 40 days, after that water washes away, what do you got? You've got a very fertile field, don't you? That's exactly what you have. So what happens in this study of the Hebrew alphabet? If you look at that name, the Son of Man, or Ben Adam, that M at the end has the potential to transform to the number 600, which means cosmic fertility. It means that you can dwell in the heart, and through your dwelling in the heart, you can begin to open up this greater consciousness that you're realizing for everyone. This is why Jesus said, I am the Son of Man. So does anybody know how old Noah was when he came out of the ark? He was 600 years old. He was 600 years old. The whole story is telling you what happened. There was an old humanity based on an old consciousness. The consciousness got cleared, moved into a fertile state to bring forth a whole new humanity. Would you agree that that's where we're at right now? Yeah, we've been talking about this for many, many weeks. And we are at that state where we have to begin to further move into living from our heart space. Because your soul already knows this innate potential. It already knows that you are the Son of Man. And it has come here to transform this world through a consciousness of love. When you picked that at Renaissance Unity, you picked a big one. You really did. We are here to transform this world through a consciousness of love. How many of you are discovering that in your journey, that when you get to that point where you just feel like walking away, there's something in your soul. When you just feel like walking away, it's like this spiritual journey is too tough. Everybody been there? Yeah. This is tough stuff. This is challenging stuff. And you start to think, you know what? I can just kind of go back into the old ways and, it's a little bit smoother that way. But did you know your soul is going to tell you, oh, no, you don't? Have you noticed? Yeah. It will keep telling you that. Oh, no, you don't. Why? because it knows you are the Son of Man, that you are here to unleash this Christ force for everyone. You're called to it. You've been prepared for it. You're being prepared for it. You know, as I look out, I see so many who've been studying in unity for 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, some. And you've been a part of some really great teachers, and you've had those aha moments. And most of you have had these journey with this great teacher within, the best teacher, right? This teacher within. And if you look back, I can bet you can say that there were many times when you were saying, oh, you know what, enough with this, but you kept going, and now you're in a whole new place. Is that not so? Yes. You're in a whole new space because God is not done with you. You are a literal, and I am saying literal, soft technology, the Son of Man, to move through life's initiations, rise in consciousness, and discover and forge a path to a new humanity. Do you know what the last book that Charles Fillmore released before he made his transition? It was a book called Jesus' Soul Evolution. And it was on the 7 initiations that Jesus moves through, that we all must move through to bring this greater humanity. And so we're at that time right now where you know, we're moving, and the consciousness, all that's going on right now, everything you read is calling us into this 5th dimensional consciousness, right? And we've been doing a lot of work around that. But there is a key that I want to visit from a story from Jesus, where he has been working with his disciples for 3 years. I mean, he's been teaching them a lot, right? And he's been demonstrating to them how to move through these initiations in life. And so he's really teaching them that, listen, one of the keys here is service. You know, there's a lot to learn, but at the end of the day, what you're really going to learn is when you connect with your heart in service. And so he's really making that point, that once you learn connecting with your heart in service, you'll never walk away. You'll never walk away because you've connected with that soft space. And so this is what he says. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, and also you should wash one another's feet. Serve one another. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done. My children, I will be with you only a little while. Where I am going, you cannot come. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. Simon Peter asked him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus replied, where I am going, you cannot follow now. Right? You cannot follow now, but you will follow later. Peter, of course, is representing this phase that we went through of church, of religion, right? We had to go through that phase. But we're moving into a new phase where we're transcending this whole idea of religion and moving into this time of direct personal experience with God. We're moving into that age of grace, of this vertical dispensation. And it's through moving through these initiations that we begin to realize more and more of that. Our day is really calling us. Most of humanity right now, most of the humanity that's in this spiritual journey is in what's called 4th dimensional consciousness. We're being called into 5th. That's our job, to raise it up. Jesus said at 8:28, Jesus says, when I have lifted up the Son of Man, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall you know that I am He, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. And then in John 12:32, Jesus speaking as the Son of Man says, and I, if I be lifted up, will draw all men unto me. That we literally have this potential to continue to evolve a whole new humanity through dwelling in our hearts. If the musicians want to come forward, I just want to wrap this talk up with, I mentioned that, about 3 or 4 months ago, we started this whole journey that really looking at, we're living at this time where we're being called into a new consciousness, as humanity. That we really are. We truly are. And what's come for me is, let's go one more week. I'm going to tell you about a guest speaker we're going to have next week. And then let's give it time to gestate, and just kind of move away from this subject for a while. And see if this is part of our bold new vision. It may be, it may not be. That's up to your heart. That's up to the collective heart of this community. And we're going to do our work to discover what that is. And of course, I've been bringing this for the last 3 or 4 months because for me, I see this is where humanity's at. We really are at that place where we are called to transform this world through a consciousness of love. So next week, Michelle Tisson's going to be with us. She's going to join us via Zoom from Houston, Texas. Now, she has been in Unity. She was part of Unity for many years, but she got the call to kind of go into becoming a little more focused on raising her consciousness into this fifth dimensional consciousness, this consciousness of love and wisdom. All right, moving into realizing more inner light. And so she began to study that. And now she has moved into that new humanity consciousness. She's realized it, and she's been trained now to lead others into that. So you're going to want to be here. What she's going to do, she's going to revisit for us those 7 levels of consciousness, really visit fourth and what that is, and how most of humanity is there, and then what it is to begin to step into the 5th level. What those first signs of that are. And she's actually going to provide for us a meditation that we can begin to use that aids in that process of beginning to move from 4th, beginning to awaken to more and more into the 5th dimension. So you're going to want to be here. She is a truly humble soul, and I've really enjoyed her, and I trust that you will as well. So namaste. Namaste.